Welcome to Alkalign Lifestyle School, where we teach elite minds and bodies how to thrive as a true, authentic, divine self. I am your host and guide today, Fidelis Snuggle II, and today I am teaching you guys how to pray. Yeah, I'm going there. So let's talk about, first of all, the types of prayers that we've been taught how to express outwardly to the so-called God or the universe, right? And then let's talk about the actual efficient ways of communication where we actually realize who we really are, which is the God that we are speaking of or speaking to, and we connect ourselves with the actual universe to get what we want. So, first off, the first type of prayer that I'm traditionally hearing or seeing people do, right, is called a colloquial prayer. And what this type of prayer is a prayer that's an informal prayer. It's a, please God, do this for me. Please God, get me home safely. If you're going on a flight somewhere, please God, get all of us to our destination safely. Say you driving on a trip and you don't run out of gas. Please God, get me home before my gas runs out of my gas tank or something like that. You're saying an informal prayer. Please God, help me do something. Okay, and then that's usually the form of the colloquial prayer that you see. This is like a common thing. Most people do this all day long. Please God, pay my bills. Please God, keep my lights on. Whatever it is. This is not a very efficient way of prayer. And I'm gonna explain at the end of this why these types of prayers are not efficient because of the feeling places that it causes inside your mind. So the informal prayers, right? Please God, don't do that. Just just save that for somebody else. That's the victim mentality already from starting. And what you're doing is you're separating yourself already from the universal field, the universal mind. And when you're begging, essentially you're begging, you're already acknowledging that you ain't never gonna have that, you don't have that, you can't have that, there's no way possible, and now you're just sitting there begging. So you're just gonna have more of that. Understand how universal law works, right? There's 7 laws, as they say. That's really your 7 chakras. But it's only one law. Everything is mind. So if you look at it from how you talk, right? How you talk is going to express how you really feel about the situation or yourself on the inside. And if you can look at it from that perspective, you shift immediately your speech. You have to become conscious of your speech. And you have to learn that you're a programmer at every moment in time, point, space. So you're always programming something to occur within the field of space that you are surrounded in subconsciously. So colloquial prayers, informal prayers, don't do those. Yeah, just say those. Now you have petition prayers, okay? Petition prayers are, I petition the universe, I petition God for the right to be healthy, or I petition God for the right to be wealthy. I petition this deity that's outside of me to do something for me. I'm petitioning this thing. So I'm basically, saying I petition the God of the universe to do something for me. And you are literally reaching out of yourself again, this petition type of prayer, and saying, I petition God for the healing of my the eyesight, or for the healing of my gut, or for the healing of my cancer, or you may have people who pray for other people, and they're saying, I petition God to heal my mother or my father or my sister or something like that, or my sibling. This is a separation prayer. And the way I look at that separation, right? I'm saying because separation is you thinking that you're starting off as an individual instead of the whole collective. You're not the whole collective. This is where I'm gonna finish this off by saying, sometimes you need to look like the bad guy. You need to look like an asshole. And you need to stop being so kind and so nice. Because what happens is you're letting the field dictate whom you are going to be, what you can attract to yourself. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. If you don't look at it where the field is dictating, what you can receive in your lifetime because of how you're actually perceiving these things, it's going to be an inherent struggle for you to get any kind of accolades inside your life, because you're going to be waiting for affirmation from somebody else on the outside, confirmation from something on the outside. This again is a problem. So petition prayers, where you petition something outside of you, a God outside of you, for the right to do something. You don't need to ask anyone outside of you to do anything. Let's go to the third prayer. This is the meditative prayer. Now, the meditative prayer is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And this is where you just take the time to change your awareness, change your perspective, raise your vibration, and you just become aware of something. And when you become aware of something, you have a shift in perspective, and you're just meditating on this thing, and you're holding the energy onto something. And so what you start to look at it is, okay, this is how energy works. So say you have three types of energy, right? I'll draw this and for you guys to understand. So you have a point and three centers. You have a point that can be going out, where this point is going out, it's radiating outwardly, all right? Then you have a point that can be doing the complete opposite, where it's going in, okay? You're going into yourself. Then you have a point that can be doing this. It could just be pulsating, meaning you're holding your attention onto it. It's just pulsating. It's pulsating. Okay, so let me explain this. This one is radiating outwardly. Say my energy, my attention, my vision, my perspective is on my outer external world. So it's out in 3D. I'm looking around me. I'm feeling around me. I'm sensing around me. Then I close my eyes. When I close my eyes, it's the next one that is now going in. It's coming in. My energy, my attention is flowing inwardly to my current state that I can now change it. It's flowing in. Then say I'm like blue marker. I have a blue marker. I just hold my gaze on this blue marker. And all of a sudden, my brain's taking snapshots constantly, like snapshots, constant shots of this blue marker. And it's getting even more and more defined to me, where I can start to see smaller pieces, intricate details of this blue marker, because now it's pulsating on this blue marker. That's my attention. So your energy flows, energy goes where so your energy flows where your attention goes. If your attention goes to abundance and wealth, your energy is going to flow towards abundance and wealth. If your energy flows towards great health and prosperity, your energy will flow towards great health and prosperity, because your attention was going towards health and prosperity. So let me correct myself. If your attention is going on abundance and prosperity, your energy will flow towards abundance and prosperity. If your attention goes towards health and longevity, ageless, right, then your energy will flow towards health and prosperity and agelessness. You now have the energy to follow you. It follows you. So if you want to put your perspective on something, you have to actually shift where your attention is going. That's why it's so powerful for you not to look on the outside of things, for you to wake up in the morning and for you to affirm who you are, for you to write on your bathroom mirror your attitude, and something wonderful is happening for me today. You need to be able to get into your own mind and understand that the first thing that you should do when you start your day is to actually start your day the way you want to start your day. Don't start your day in reactionary mode. That's why you don't pick up your cell phone. That's why you don't check your emails. That's why you don't go and immediately go to the outside to take that in. You just woke up. You just were reborn today. So your goal is not to go and take everything in immediately. There's no point. You'll never be able to create anything because you didn't create from the start. You were waiting for the gun to fire before you started running. But when you wake up in the morning, you start running. The gun's gonna fire regardless. Just start running. Where you wanna go to. That's how you do it. Set a GPS address. So that's where you start to look at how, when you meditate, what are you meditating on? That's what you really have to look at. What are you meditating on? Is it a problem? Is it an issue? Something internal within you that you're not letting go of? You know, it has to actually make sense to you. So meditative prayers really are just you becoming aware of things, aware of yourself, your true self. When you're in an eighth dimension perspective, right? An eighth dimension perspective, because dimensions are just perspectives. If you're in a perspective of the eighth dimension, what you're looking at is the actual matrix of space. The actual matrix of space is all around you. That's your subconscious. Your subconscious mind is what's all around you. So it's working behind the scenes all around you. You see, that's why you don't have to tell yourself to breathe. You don't have to tell your heart to beat. It's already going to be doing that. What you need to understand is you have to get out of the way of it doing that and don't impede the progress of it doing that. Then you can actually meditate. Then you can actually quiet your mind and silence yourself. So that's what meditative processes are, meditative prayers are. You're just becoming aware. And the more pure you are, the more purified you are, the more aware of you of whom you really are. I mean your true divine self, not the self that you think you are. All right, the enormously powerful self that you really are. That's what I'm talking about. The one that's infinite with no limitations, the one with no filters. Okay, because if you had a one with no filters, you wouldn't have a petition prayer in the first place, or a colloquial prayer in the first place, because you wouldn't need to. You see, so meditative prayers really are becoming familiar with yourself, what you've been asking for, and then changing the way that your attention is flowing so that your energy goes towards that thing. All right. Next prayer, and this is also a very common prayer because I grew up, I was Catholic. All right, so my mother and father both were Catholic. I was raised in the Catholic Church. I had to do confirmation. It's literally called confirmation. See, it's what happens to you when you go into religious ways is that you get stuck in those ways, thinking that these are the ways that you have to navigate your way through the world. I'm not telling anybody to quit religion. I don't believe in it in that regard because I believe in a higher self perspective. I don't believe in what the religion taught me 100%. Some of it, is helpful, but most of it is undermining and limiting because they tell you to live in a box. And the box is, if you don't do these things, you can't go to heaven. But I don't believe that because I believe heaven is right now. I believe we're living heaven on earth right now. And I have to actually be in the perspective of what heaven really is, how heaven really feels. That's a seventh dimension perspective, heaven on earth. Because if I'm looking at the seven chakras, when I actually align my root, my sacral, my solar plexus, my heart, my throat, my third eye, and my crown, I'm in a seventh dimension perspective. I'm just walking around. I'm sitting. Everything is great. Everything is wonderful. I have no problems. I have no issues. I have no concerns. That's seventh dimension perspective. The people who actually know that you don't own anything in this world. Do you know that? You own nothing. It's impossible for you to own anything because as soon as you claim ownership, you're attached to that thing. So now, when you claim ownership of something, you've lost the ability to be free. You don't have any freedom. You don't have the ability to transcend because transcendence is just dying essentially from that thing, from your perspective of that's me. See, when you transcend, when you have an eagle bird's eye view on how your life is working, you then realize that everything that you've accumulated over your lifetime, it's not you. You did not create this. It does not belong to you. It belongs to the planet. And it's going to go back to the planet whenever you're not here. So all that you're worried about is ridiculous. You shouldn't be worried about anything. You should simply, literally, tell yourself every morning whom you really are. And you attach yourself with a great attitude towards life. If you don't attach yourself to a great attitude towards life, life's going to reflect back to you the way that you treat life. So life is just a journey, an alchemical process. So all throughout your entire existence, you've been looking at trying to accumulate things. But what happens if you have an earthquake, or a rock slide, or a volcanic eruption, or a fire like we just had in LA the last 2 weeks or so? It burns all your stuff up. What are you gonna do? You just gonna die because all your stuff is gone? Like your life is over? No, no. It's freeing you from what you've created. So the freedom from creation, the freedom from you being how you were yesterday, the freedom from you being how you were last week, the freedom from having a new change in attitude or perspective from last year, right? You have an opportunity to now, at every moment, change how you see things, meaning how you see yourself. But you have to actually go through that process. You have to go through those dark nights to go see whom you really were, what beliefs that you actually held, because your entire life is being controlled by those beliefs. And that's what you're sending out in terms of prayer to the universal mind to give back to you. The universal mind is that subconscious mind. It's the mind that's all around you at every moment in time, point in space. And you're telling it to reflect back to you how you really think, what you really believe about yourself, how you feel about yourself. You're telling it. So you have to know and become conscious of these things 100%. If you don't become conscious of it, you're going to be sitting there acting like you're a victim of life, even though the fire that burned your house was raging inside of you. You see what I'm saying? The earthquake that broke your foundation was raging inside of you. The volcanic eruption that slaughtered your community, your home, and took out everything, it was raging inside of you. It was erupting inside of you. And so that's why people don't actually attach themselves to the situation that happened inside their life. They haven't learned yet that they magnetically attracted these things to them because of what they were putting out. You get back what you put out. So in the case of ritualistic prayers, you go to church. They tell you to bow and genuflect, or in front of the pew. You walk into the pew. You get on your knees, and you're sending out the prayers towards the God or the heaven up here. But that's not real. That doesn't have anything to do. There's no God that's up there. There's a God that's in here. There's no God that's out there. There's nothing that's out there for you. So you're going to be the entire time seeing it to believe it. I have to see it to believe it. I have to see this person do this in order to believe it. I have to, feel or touch or no, that's not how it actually works. In the universal mind, you have to believe it in order to see it. So meaning you have to actually use your 5 senses when your eyes are closed and draw that imaginary situation up inside your mind and feel yourself there. So you close your eyes, you feel yourself inside a new home, and you feel yourself inside of a new car. You feel yourself inside of a new job. You have to feel yourself there and invoke all of your senses, all 5 senses. You have the taste, touch, smell, the sight, the sound, the hearing. So if you can't actually see it in your mind's eye, you can't see it out here, because it all happens twice. Everything happens twice. And then we're going to get to this at the end of this, talking about the law of inverse transformation that's coming up. So ritualistic prayers, where you go to church and they taught you how to essentially recite these things, right? And they use the right combination of words, or specific words that you believe, when you recite them, something happens. So our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, and all this, like you start to you recite things and attempted to evoke a feeling inside of you, this combination of words. And sometimes it may work if it evokes the right feeling, but if not, then you're just going to be sitting there saying, well, asking you shall receive. You're going to be sitting there waiting like, well, I'm asking. I'm asking, like, God, I'm asking. I want to tell you in a bit why all you're asking has not actually been giving you anything. Okay, so we're gonna get to that. So ultimately, then you have what's called a supplication prayer, which is taught from the feelings of being separated from everything. So what you're doing is you're come from a feeling of helplessness. This is kind of like the colloquial prayer and the informal prayer, where you're asking for intervention. God, can you intervene on this tragedy from happening? So say the fires were going on. God, can you intervene from my community burning down? Like God, can you come in and do something, because I'm helpless. I don't know what to do. Like I can't do anything. That's what you keep on sending out, even though, again, I'm telling you, You aren't separate from anything. You can do something. You can send an intention because your intentions are powerful. So, what I'm going to tell you, you may not actually understand at first, but you're going to understand this. And that is that you've never actually seen a prayer before. You've never seen a prayer before, ever in your lifetime. Because a prayer can't be seen. A prayer can only be felt. A prayer of intent to do something is felt. Say you're going through a drought. We have them every year in LA. And no one feels that there's going to be any rain. No one feels that they're going to have a solution to this problem, right? They just keep on repeating the same thing over and over again. The one thing I'm going to tell you guys right now is don't watch the news. Don't watch the news. You don't need to watch the news or consume so much negative information that comes through the news because they have a certain perspective that they do that scares everybody. It scares the living crap out of all people who consume that information. Your whole biology changes. Your whole inner chemistry changes because you're creating stress chemicals just from watching the news. We drive down Hollywood, West Hollywood, and Sunset Boulevard, you see billboards everywhere, and they're showing you, they're directing you on how to think. They're directing what's coming into the screen of your mind. And all of a sudden, you're like, why am I feeling like this? And that's what you've been praying for. That's why advertisements are so powerful. Marketing is such a big budget. Because if you have the right marketing team, if you have the right team of people that can market something and sell these pictures outwardly, oh, you'll have no problem. You'll have no problem sticking yourself into the minds of people. You see what I'm saying? There's different ethnic groups, every color. You know, there's only one race, human race, but there's multiple shades of people. Different shades of people practice different things based on culture. And your culture doesn't, this culture is like this in Mexico, it's culture like this in Africa, it's cultures like this in Europe, right? It's cultures like this in Britain or Australia. They all have different cultures. People have different cultures. So based upon your culture, that's what's going to shape your inner environment, your culture. If you don't understand that, you will never change your culture. You see the world based on how your culture taught you to see the world. And if you don't actually go to branch out to somebody else's culture, you realize that you're never going to accept anything else. You won't know anything about connection. You've been living in separation the entire time. You'll say, this person does not listen to my music, does not speak like me. He doesn't have the same language as me. They don't think like me. They don't, their morals and values aren't the same as mine. It's like that. But you're basing this off of morality when you're supposed to be basing this off of consciousness. Everything is created. Everything is created by us. And we're unified. See what I'm saying? So when you have prayers, your prayers, you've never actually seen them. Because you have to understand that prayer is feeling. Feeling is the prayer. That's the secret. The secret is, how do you feel? Because you realize from the root to the crown. What is the crown's job? The pituitary gland. Its job is to control, literally, the chemicals released based on how you feel. So all the constructs come from the bottom to the top. And when it hits the crown, it's like having a hammer and hitting it, and it sparks up and it hits the bell. And however it hits the bell, that's how you're gonna see the world. That's how it works, based upon how you feel. So if you feel limitless, you're offering that prayer to the universe. If you don't feel limitless, you're offering that prayer to the universe. And your world will reflect what you're sending out. Say you're in a grocery store, right? You've been down on your luck a little bit, and money hasn't been coming in, so you're down to your last couple of dollars. Man, you're dreading having to circulate your money out. You're just dreading everything. All of a sudden, when you go to the grocery store, you'll be in line, self-checkout or checkout line, going to pay for something, and you'll see everyone in that line feels the same suppression, the same repression, the same lack of money, the same lack of wealth. And that's because you're all on the same frequency. All of you are on the same radio station playing the same thoughts and feelings and emotions inside of your head and you're feeling inside your body at this moment in time. Y'all create the same chemicals. You cannot be in a group of people that you are not magnetically attracted to. It's impossible. Unless you change, again, your attention. You change where your attention is flowing. All right, you change where your attention is flowing. Your change where your attention is going, or where it's locked onto, and your energy is going to flow right to that thing. So it'll bring you there. So you may be overweight, you may be sick and tired, but you close your eyes and you imagine the brand new you, and you imagine this wonderful new body and mind and spirit and soul and so much energy and so much vitality. You were like, gosh, I just feel so good. I can like smell my new food that I'm eating at nighttime. I can hear myself in the gym with the music playing inside the background in my headphones, and I can hear the weights clanging. I can hear me on the treadmill running, and you know, I can see myself in the mirror with my six-pack abs. And I mean, man, I can taste the food that I'm eating now. It's just so much different, and it's actually so like just tastes great, just tastes better. It just feels good. It's making me feel great. And then all of a sudden, you know, your touch and your senses are actually feeling the muscles on your body and just feeling your everything, your radiance in your skin. You open your eyes and you're like, oh, but I'm fat. I don't have that. No, you have that. I guarantee you have that. Because all of a sudden what then happens is you turn up and you're like, I can go to a Pilates class over here. Or look at the hot yoga class right here. Or there's a new gym being built down the street from my place. Yeah, I'm gonna sign up right now today. And all of a sudden you sign up and you go for the first couple days, 1, 2, 3 days. And then you get tired because you're like, I'm sore. But then you come back and then you do it again. And you're like, I'm just gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna imagine this again. And you know, I can hear the weights clanging. I can still feel my six-pack, and I can still feel the radiance in my skin, and I just feel so good. I can get into new clothes, and I was shopping for all this stuff that's coming into your imagination. And you start going back again. 3 more days, 4 more days, 5 more days. You don't quit. And what you don't do is you don't keep checking on your manifestation. You don't keep checking on the time or the date. You just keep on doing the actual work. If you look at it from that perspective, one day you just wake up. One day you just wake up. And you look in the mirror, and that image that you saw with your eyes closed is now you. Look at that. Law of attraction. You just manifested a brand new life and a brand new self-image. This is the thing that people have a problem with. You've never seen a prayer before. And we've been taught to ask and we shall receive. That's what we've been taught. Ask and we shall receive. Is that really true? How many times have you asked and you haven't received anything? And I'm just asking. I'm not trying to put you down. Okay, I'm just, because trust me, I've asked and I haven't received much at times because I didn't know what I was asking for and I didn't know how to ask. Well, this prayer that they got from, I believe it was in the Old Testament, asking you shall receive. What I've learned over time is that there's interpreters in these Bibles and ancient texts. And I came upon the Gospel of Thomas that was found, I believe, in 1945. And in the Gospel of Thomas, finally somebody actually went to do a proper translation of what this prayer, asking we shall receive, stood for. And I believe it was in a book called Prayers from the Cosmos. And in this book, asking we shall receive was translated to ask without hidden motive and be surrounded by your answer. Be enveloped by what you desire, that your gladness be full. Now, let me tell you, and this is actually probably the most powerful thing that I've gone to do in my life, is to speak to the Creator within me, knowing that it hears me, meaning me. What this means, and I'll break this down. Okay, so I'll break this entire prayer down, and I'll break it down into actual codes that you don't understand step by step how to do this. Ask and you shall receive. All right, I put we, but it's asking you shall receive. Okay, so asking you shall receive. If you actually go through and you translate this properly, and you understand how this really works, you're going to say, instead, ask without hidden motive. And let me tell you, that means you actually have to be transparent and authentic. Ask without hidden motive. That means ask without attachment. You have no attachment to anything that's going on, to anything that's coming up to you. You ask without hidden motive. And you be surrounded by your answer. I didn't put answer. Be surrounded by your answer. When you be surrounded by your answer, what's that mean? That means that it's already occurred. It's already happened. You've already feeling like it's already occurred. It's already happened. Therefore, you have a feeling of gratitude that you've already gotten and received the thing that you've been asking God for, the Creator, the consciousness. You already received the gifts that you solely desired. And then you are enveloped by what you desire, so that your gladness be full. Let's talk about your attitude. So if your attitude towards something is living in the end of something, this is called the law of inverse transformation. So write this down. The law of inverse transformation says you're starting from the end result instead of starting from the beginning. Let's actually get to the feeling. Like I told you, you close your eyes, you sit there and you say, let me make a declaration of what it is that I truly desire. Okay? I'm going to make a declaration, and I'm going to state the purpose or the intent of my actual prayer. This is my prayer, how I feel. How I'm going to create the feeling is going to be the prayer. So you're going to state the purpose, the intent of your actual prayer. It can be whatever you want, whatever you want. I'm going to say the purpose is going to be, I got a brand new home, or I got a brand new car, or I got a brand new client, right? I got an endless stream of money coming in, whatever it is. That's the purpose, that's the intent. You have to actually give it a declaration, then you have to go from the declaration to the function. The function of your prayer, meaning, how does this program that you're sending out, this feeling, where the work is performed, what is the body of it, right? Because you're sending it, like you're sending an email with the subject and a body, where's the description, all right? And then you have to close it, the resolution, the actual goal. Okay, and so there's a step-by-step process. Here's the process. You're gonna do an opening. So I'm gonna write down opening. So let's see. Okay. So I can erase this part right here. So you're going to do an opening. You have an opening, and then you'll have next. From the opening, you will have a code. And then you'll have a close. I actually got this from Greg. Greg has a lot of books about, some names of God. He has a lot of books where he talks about spiritual prayer because he traveled a lot to hit, the Himalayas and, these places to go meet Tibetan monks. He traveled to Tibet a lot. And so he got to talk to these people face to face. And ask them questions, and ask them personal questions, and ask them, how do you guys do this? And they evoke the feeling. They told them, and I started to use this in my own life, and I started to see just how powerful it was and just how quickly it works. So when you have an opening, what you're doing, State the purpose of your intent of your prayer, of this feeling. Be brief, be concise. That means you got to be detailed, and you have to just say, this is what it is, I'm shooting for, that's it, okay? Your code, meaning the body of your prayer, it's a subconscious code because it's going to be all out in the field. How do you want yourself to feel? How do you want yourself to be? And this is where it's going to say live in the end. You do this as if it's already accomplished, already achieved. And then you close it, meaning you seal this prayer in trust and faith and truth. He uses the terms, I believe it's in Aramaic, la'alam, almin, amen. That's what he uses. You could use that, that's fine. You know, I used to use it. I still use it from time to time. But for the most part, I basically say, infinite mind, please show me a sign. You know, and it shows me a sign whenever, at all times. It shows me the signs all the time. So, you know, and no, excuse me, I say, infinite mind, thank you for showing me a sign. Meaning I say, thank you for showing me the sign because it's already showed me the sign this has already occurred. So I don't have to ask it to do anything. I just tell it, thank you for showing me the sign. And I say, thank you and I love you because that's me. I'm saying I'm thanking myself and I'm loving myself. So opening, state the purpose, your intent of your prayer. Be brief, be detailed, be concise. Code, body of your prayer, subconscious code, as if it's already accomplished. You're living from the end. You're living from the end of how this works. Then after that, you're going to close the prayer. I seal this prayer in trusted faith and truth. La'alam, amen, amen, whatever you decide. Thank you, God. Thank you, universal mind, whatever. Thank you, consciousness, whatever. But you have got to understand that you're living from the end of the actual thing that you've been creating. So just close your eyes. Really, just close your eyes. You praying for some money to come in? Close your eyes. You need to feel. You need to actually state the purpose, the intent. And you can say whatever you want. You know, infinite mind, thank you. You know, for showing me a sign that, you know, I got so much abundance. I got so much money free flowing coming in, and all my needs are met. My family's taken care of. Everything is great, right? And you literally invoke the feeling of going to the store, filling up your gas tank, right? You're so happy. You can hear yourself when you're ringing up the groceries and the self-checkout, and you hear your payment going through. You walking out to the parking lot with your stuff, and then after that, you just close it. You know, thank you, infinite mind. You know, hey, I love you, and then that's it. You talk to God like you talk to yourself because it is yourself. Talk to your Father like you talk to your Father. It's within you. I ain't talking about your mama and daddy outside. I don't care. No, I'm talking about the actual Father. Mother Earth that's taking care of everything for you. Father God that's taking care of everything for you. It's taking care of everything, positive, negative, taking care of everything. So look at it from that perspective and shift how you've been praying. Stop praying with these colloquial prayers. Stop praying with these prayers talking about, God, please get me home today and you know, thank you, like stop trying to thank you for things that you're so helpless and you're so weak and you're so victimized. That's not it. There is a big difference between working towards the outcome and beginning with the outcome. There's a huge difference. You see, you can sit there and say, I'm working towards $1 billion company. Or you can sit there and think from having $1 billion company, you'll make different decisions. Will get you with $1 billion company. You don't need to go step by step like you're climbing some ladder. Like you're just gonna be like one step at a time. You're gonna do like this. That's not how it works. You think from the end of already having the thing. I got $1 billion project right now. So my attitude towards when I go out to go advertise my stuff is completely different. Because I know how good I am. I know how powerful I am. I know what I really am. It's a different way of looking at things. You know? I'll give you one thing that should sit with you. Is if you pray for something, that is something can never happen. Because the moment you pray for something, you have just told the universe that you prayed for, that what you prayed for does not exist here in the now. So you don't pray for something. See, meaning you don't pray to get something. okay? Essentially, you're praying to tell her thank you for you having that something. So you're saying thank you for my wonderful relationship. You can be fighting with your spouse, fighting with your girlfriend or boyfriend. Close your eyes and say thank you for this wonderful moment, this wonderful person that I love so much in my wonderful harmonious relationship. Yeah, it may be hard at that moment in time. So what? Get over yourself. Because you've been praying, and what you've been praying for, you've been getting. You want arguments, you want fights, you want negativity, you want combativeness, you want resistance. You've been praying for that. You never thought with intention to write down the completely opposite. So it's your fault. So stop what you're doing. You don't want to fight no more, don't. Sit there, close your eyes, and say, thank you for my harmonious relationship. And I mean, put some feeling behind it. Relax yourself. Stop what you're doing. Calm yourself down. People just want to blame back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then they want to go back and blame God because they've been saying these ritualistic prayers and they've been repeating these words and it's like, oh, it's not working. You know, God doesn't hear me. You know, or you've been doing petition prayers. I petition God to do this for me and God ain't showing up. You know, or then you've been talking about meditative prayers where you've been sitting there like, hey, I've been still. And I've been becoming familiar with myself and nothing's changing. And then after that, you do supplication prayers and you're literally coming from a place of helplessness. And it just starts to tell you, hey, if you're praying for something to happen, that something can never happen because you're telling it never happened. So you're gonna have to do this, but you believe it in order to see it. That's the trick. Feeling is the secret. If you can come from a place of you already feel your happiness and your gladness and your blissfulness and your abundance and your health and your wealth and just your harmony, you're gonna get that thing. Because you realize it's yours to acknowledge that you've already gotten that thing. It all happens in the now. There's no past, there's no future. It all happens in the now, which is the present. So if this helps you guys, like, share, subscribe. Again, if you're looking for a cellular detox, let's change the way that you think, change the way that you act, change the way that you feel, how you speak. And you're looking for a rewind, just a reset. We have an upcoming VIP, Generational Health Healing Retreat. Probably gonna be in Ohio for our first one. And also, if you're looking for a cellular detox, have Awaken, Replenish, Ascension, and Transcendence. And you can't go the last two until you do the first two. But once you go through the process, if you want to have one-on-one coaching, mentorship and guide, as we guide you along this entire program, send us a DM and click the link in the description, send us a message. But I'm telling you right now, if you're not willing to put the work in, don't call us because you're not going to like us. And so all I'm telling you is that our job is not to coach you. Our job is not to heal you. Our job is actually just to guide you to a detour, to look in the mirror, to heal yourself. That's what my job is. I'm not taking no credit for your healing. You get all of it. But you also got to take the credit for doing the work. So that's the difference. And maybe some people want to, they want to improve their rosters or improve their numbers. I'm not here for numbers. I'm here for results. So if you're here for results and you really want to actually change your life and change, the mindset, the subconscious programming, your lineage, how you've been feeling, flowing, being in this way, your family's way of being, okay? Yeah, if you can commit to it, let's go for it. All right. Till then, till next time, peace.